Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, hello again. I trust you enjoyed my last video from the band The Fiction Factory. And through this song, Feels Like Heaven, and a few of their others, we looked at what happens when there's life change and the emotions that happen and whirl around inside our heads. So it's a good album, Throw the Wheel Out, when it came out in the 1980s. Well, we're going from there to London, 1987. Mark Nevin thought, well, I want to do a bit of a music thing, and he soon discovered Eddie Vedder on lead vocals, and also gathered Simon Edward and Roy Dodds, and together those guys formed Fairground Attraction. Their first album, The First of a Million Kisses, was released in 1988, and that actually won a couple of Brit Awards, which is pretty cool. And then in 1990 they released A Fond Kiss, and they've also released 6 compilation albums, 1 live album, and 5 singles. Fairground Attraction have won a Silver Clef Award, and as I already said, 2 Brit Awards for that first album, and to the song When You Talk About Fairground Attraction, you have to talk about. Of course, one of the compelling things about Fairground Attraction was just their catchy, very cute and whimsical kind of thought-provoking kind of lyrics. And of course, when you've got Eddie Vedder's just effervescent character around her, the fiery red hair, the whole thing, it just made Fairground Attraction such a compelling act. And certainly when these guys performed, they hit the ground running, that is for sure. And you can sort of put Fairground Attraction, as I said, very whimsical and cute and catchy with their songs. Jazz pop, well and truly, a bit of blues rock, pop rock, and skiffle, whatever skiffle is. I didn't actually manage to look at what skiffle actually was. I'm feeling kind of Fairground Attraction's kind of whimsicalness about them makes them a skiffle act. Now, when you think about Fairground Attraction, the song you think about is Perfect. Now, this was a pretty successful song for these guys. It went to #1 in the UK and actually charted in the UK charts for 13 consecutive weeks. So that's pretty good. Won a Brit Award for a pretty amazing song. And so that's where we're going today. Now, you may remember this clip. We've got the 4 of them, and they're on a canal boat, going through a canal. And, you know, she's talking about he's got to be perfect, that kind of song there. And, you know, you should really get carried away for the ride with what is such a catchy, stick in your head kind of song. Now, for someone, obviously for the songwriter of this particular song, I think Eddie actually wrote this song. She's kind of experienced a little bit of life, and she's looking back on her past love, thinking, the next one's going to be just perfect. In fact, he's got to be. Oh my goodness, it's like I'd hate to be the next guy because you've got to be perfect. But we can automatically go to the, perfect, really? Nobody's perfect in this world, and that's actually quite true, because nobody is. I mean, we want to go out with someone perfect anyway. There's just no way to get in there. But let's just push through this a little bit more. I think, when you've been around love a little bit and you've experienced it, and you don't really know what love is when you start. You don't really know what person is needed to make you tick. And you think, well, all right, I've got a bit more of an idea now. I need someone who's good fun and can have good conversation. Someone who can be, sensitive at times and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I just want that kind of resonance in my life. There's nothing wrong with thinking those things, by the way. And thinking, well, this is a pretty important decision to actually go out with someone. So, I need to, because I have been perhaps burnt a little bit in the past too, I need to just protect myself just a little bit. And hopefully I'll find this person that will really make my life complete. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with reflecting back on where you've been from and where you've come from, the people you've been with, and you start to get a bit of an idea of what sort of person you're looking for. Whether that person exactly exists, on the other hand, is a bit of an interesting journey. That one, I think very much. If the person comes along and you think, oh yeah, there's something in this, well, you both kind of adjust and work out how you can do life together, because that's what love does. Love's patience and kind, and so you exercise that patience and kindness to the other person. So yeah, it's good to go back and reflect on your interaction with love. And love is different for everybody, but love is a compelling force of nature that we just need in our lives. But that's one way of looking at it. There's another way of looking at this, and this is saying he's got to be perfect. Hands up if you're perfect. Well, I'm going to put my hand straight down because I'm not. No way. And I don't want to be perfect, to be honest with you. I have things in my life which are a bit of a trick, and we bit of a struggle, and I'm sure we all have things in our lives that are a bit of a struggle, and that's what makes us who we are. If we're going to pretend that those things aren't there for the sake of being perfect, well then we're not being our real selves, perhaps. And to be said that you're perfect, it's a very high thing to be able to come up to. Now, it shows like The Bachelorette and Bachelor and Married at First Sight, particularly in the Bachelor series when there's the Meet the Parents episode. The one where you're down to the final 3 or whatever it is, and you go and meet the parents. Every word, every look, every nuance, every breath is absolutized to the absolute minutest of detail. And if there's just even if they blink wrong, that's it, life's over as we know it. I really don't know why people put themselves through these particular experiences. We all know reality television really isn't reality. It's kind of in this blurred space. But, oh man, I wouldn't want to be the object of such intense scrutiny. Really what the show is saying, well, for you to land your guy or your girl, the bachelor or bachelorette, you've got to be absolutely perfect. Cannot put a step wrong. You've got to actually just step it up, be a man, be a woman, and really just really get in that zone of perfection. Man, it's just too much pressure there. Too much pressure. But I do wonder, certainly when have been around a few times, we're looking for that next person to fulfill everything that we possibly want in a person. We are kind of looking for perfection. And I think the thing is we've got to realise is the person you're looking for probably doesn't exist. And so therefore you've got to think, well, I need to be realistic about this stuff as well. Because I don't want to put perfection onto my partner. I just want them to be themselves. But it seems to me as I look around at how people dress and the whole thing, it's almost like people are saying to people, look, I am perfect. And it's very, very difficult as a person in the human race to actually try and connect with a person who thinks they're perfect, because it's just impossible. And who am I to try and intervene in a life like that? It's just too hard. So I think what we need to, and of course social media and movies and magazines and all that sort of doesn't help. In fact, magazines not so much these days, but certainly social media doesn't help these days, where there's this perfect image projected. And you think, well, I better just be like them. But we lose touch with ourselves. So I think it's really, really important to realise that, hey, let's be ourselves first, and live life the way we think we should live it. Not try to meet everyone's expectations, but just to be ourselves. Because you can be a soft landing for people when there's, in a world where the world's struggling a bit at the moment, and people need soft landings, need a place they can go where they can just be themselves, just be. And so we don't want to be perfect, because that kind of just puts people off that. So let's try and be positive differences in the world and drop the perfection just a little bit and bring back the humanity. So there we go. It's interesting, the last 3 song videos I've talked about this whole concept of breaking down walls between you and me, and is always going to be this way. And the last video about, you know, the gamut of emotions that come when perhaps a relationship comes to an end. Well, this is the next step on from that, you know, the next person. And yes, guys, you're not beyond love. It doesn't matter how old you are, right? You're not beyond love. But, you know, we might start to be raising our expectations a little bit about this person. They just have to tick all of these boxes before we'll engage. Be very, very careful that we don't raise the bar so high that we end up alone. Guys, it's a trick though. Trying to balance all of this stuff is a real challenge. And so yeah, may this video be an encouragement for you today. I think the main takeaway from today is, let's not look for perfection, because it doesn't exist, and let's not try to be perfect ourselves either. So trust you found that one encouraging. Well, so we're onto the clip. So we do have perfect. Eddie, how good is Eddie's vocals? They are absolutely amazing, and just a very beautiful, effortless, little minimal backing behind these guys just makes these guys so compelling. There's also something compelling about the canal boat too, and the whole thing. Really, really good. I think there's even rain in there just to add to the whole feel of it. So we've got perfect. The official clip and a live version. I think the live version is kind of a person that's kind of shot with a video camera. And it's like, but it's pretty good actually. So official and live version are perfect. You also, and off the first of 1 Million Kisses album, 1988. In fact, all of these songs are off that album today. We then got another one of their well-known songs, Find My Love. This is very much about the mystery and adventure of love. Of course, it's not about, you know, one person finding another person's love. We're finding each other's love. But I suppose the invitation is, hey, I do want to love you. Let's work out how this can actually happen. This song's got a beautiful Latin feel to it too, by the way. So a bit of a different feel for Fairground Attraction. And just a really, really compelling song. That's the official clip on that one. And then we got A Smile and a Whisper. This is the first song off that album. And this is an official clip as well. And this talks about love, not so much in the words, but in the smiles and the whispers and all of that sort of thing. Because there's so much more to communication than just words. We talk in so many ways, our body language, the way we look, the tone of our voice, all of that. So A Smile and a Whisper is a beautiful reflection on that. So the links to those 4 clips are in the description below, and I've also included my last video on Fairground Attraction, my last video on the Fiction Factory. And you do know when I make little things like that, I don't edit them out, they just stay there, because you know what? I'm not perfect. So there we go. And so yeah, if you want to recap on the Fiction Factory and that incredible album, Throw the Wheel Out from the 1980s, feel free to have a look at that one as well. Well, I reckon this series has got to the end of the Fs. You might be thinking, why did Fairground Attraction come after FX? Well, classic case of me remembering these guys as we got to the end of the F. I reckon we might be there now with the Fs though. Of course, the challenge is if you go back to my playlist and think, hey, you didn't do these guys. Well, you know, put a request in. That'd be really, really good. So that's it for today. Next time I'm going to go back to C's, because there's one band I did forget, and that was the Commodores. I mean, how can you not do a series and not do those guys? Of course, that's where Lionel Richie got his start. So that's where we're headed next time. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.